midday sun rises over the South Pacific Ocean, a new era dawns on a dynamic new Pacific powerhouse. The sun and surf that have long made the state of Queensland Australia's iconic tourism mecca are now a vibrant background to a diverse economy that feeds and fuels the world, and as one of 8 states contributing $254 billion, 20% of Australia's GDP. The farms of Queensland export over 50% of Australia's beef and 30% of Australia's cotton. And Queensland is now the world's largest seaborne coking coal exporter, supplying $37 billion of fuel, most of it going to China and India, the drivers of the global economy. The state of Queensland is surging forward on a mineral boom, which has raised interstate and overseas migration levels to record heights, to the point where the Office of Economic and Statistical Research calculates that Queensland's population currently grows by 112,900 people per year. That's over 2,000 people per week, 52 weeks of the year. The major focus of this growth is Queensland's capital city, Brisbane, where phenomenal population growth coupled with chronic dwelling undersupply is fueling another boom in property investment.
G'day, I'm Campbell Newman, the Lord Mayor of Brisbane, Australia's new world city. Brisbane is an exciting, vibrant, multicultural city where 23% of our residents were born overseas. It's been Australia's fastest growing capital city for more than a decade.
Professional property forecasters predict that Queensland will have a market demand for 43,400 new dwellings each year for the next 5 years, and Brisbane's undersupply is the worst in Queensland. To meet these growth demands, the Queensland State Government has allocated a massive $60.4 billion to planned infrastructure, with $29.42 billion dedicated to the inner Brisbane area for projects such as the Airport Link, the Eastern Busway upgrades, and the development of Australia's Trade Coast. Australia's Trade Coast, 8,000 hectares of thriving industry centred between the deep water of the Port of Brisbane and Brisbane airports, already has 7,500 businesses and employs over 43,000 people, which will grow to 106,000 by 2026. The low availability of dwellings has driven rents up by a 7% increase per year for apartments in Brisbane City over the past 5 years. And although apartment values have increased 19% to an average price of $575,813, Brisbane apartments are still 11% cheaper than new Melbourne apartments and 36% cheaper than Sydney. Returns on investments are forecast by all sources to be strong, with an historic average annual price gain of 9% over the past 10 years. Just a few kilometres from the Trade Coast, strategically placed between its coastal location and the traditional business centre of Brisbane, the city's far-sighted planners are preparing the answer. Bowen Hills, high above the river and at a crucial axis of the city's new and growing road and rail networks, is an infrastructure epicentre with unique status granted by the State Parliament, which provides unprecedented power for planning and approvals to the specially created Urban Land Development Authority.
The Urban Land Development Authority is a state government body set up to streamline the planning and approval systems in Queensland. The Bowen Hills Urban Development Area will become the northern gateway to the Brisbane CBD, and Metero Properties is developing in an area, and it's considered one of the most strategic urban renewal sites in Australia.
Bowen Hills is already fast taking shape on the drawing boards of planners and architects such as Peter Richards, who's currently overseeing the development of plans for a new 9-precinct walkable community, which will become the symbolic heart of Bowen Hills. All this infrastructure comes together just 2.5 kilometres from Brisbane CBD, where commuters will soon emerge from the transit network to a huge new skyline of what is effectively a new city within a city.
This is the new Bowen Hills, where 10,000 people will live, work and play.
The citizens of the new Bowen Hills will enjoy integrated transport, linking them to anywhere else in Brisbane or the world. For shopping, dining and entertainment, they'll have 550,000 square metres of restaurants, supermarkets and specialty shops, providing the social life of their own atmospheric precinct.
This is urban living at its best, with the street feel of a village.
Bowen Hills is set to be Brisbane's masterpiece of new urban planning. And key to this transformation is Metero Property Development in partnership with Pearls Australasia. The new company of respected Australian property developer David Devine, who for a quarter of a century has been instrumental in changing Brisbane into a new world city.
David Devine has been at the forefront of Brisbane's residential growth for many years. He's built about 60% of Brisbane's high-rise apartment buildings, and he's maintained a strong commitment to the community through his charity donations. I'm delighted to offer my full support to his new company, Metero Property Development Proprietary Limited, and I'm confident this new venture will ensure his outstanding success continues well into the future.
Metero Property Development Proprietary Limited is the inspiration of a partnership that has enjoyed 27 years of success between David Devine and Ken Woodley. And joining this vastly experienced team to ensure their vision and success continues well into the future is CEO Luke Hartman, a young dynamic professional who's been instrumental in building over 2,000 houses Australia-wide per year. Now, from the Metero Property team and Pearls Australasia comes a new Brisbane landmark with 30 levels of luxury, Madison Heights. Perfectly located just 2 minutes from the new Bowen Hill station, in the heart of this rapidly developing North Brisbane city centre of Bowen Hills, Madison Heights is adjacent to Queensland's largest hospital with a workforce of approximately 8,000 and neighbour to the $2.9 billion Royal National Association Showgrounds redevelopment, which has now commenced and will employ 2,000 workers per year for the next 15 years. Madison Heights is just 60 metres from this $2.9 billion redevelopment, which will see a whole new precinct of restaurants, bars, cafes and shopping along the streets of the immediate neighbourhood. Within a short stroll of Madison Heights, residents will have their choice of 88 restaurants, 32 bars, 22 galleries, 63 boutiques and 102 cafes. Above it all, Madison Heights residents will enjoy 30 levels of world-class living with such luxuries as a sky terrace where residents can gather with their friends and neighbours to take in the stunning river and city views. There's a pool, of course, an essential in subtropical Brisbane, along with a gymnasium, barbecue and 2 other recreational areas. The 286 1- and 2-bedroom apartments offer a modern and wide choice of lifestyles with one constant quality, light and ample space. All are finished to exacting standards with high-quality kitchens and bathrooms. To take in the stunning river and city views, most apartments open wide to an entertaining terrace or balcony, which itself is an extension of the living space in every respect. And all of this just 2.5 kilometres from Brisbane's old CBD and in the very heart of the new North Brisbane CBD centre of Bowen Hills. Metero Property Development and Pearls Australasia's new Madison Heights represents the best value in new apartment living that Brisbane has to offer. Now consider this. Today, less than 3 kilometres north across Sydney Harbour, North Sydney is one of the tallest, most densely built and populated capital city CBDs in Australia. In many ways, second only to Old Sydney itself. Imagine what your investment would be worth today if you'd invested 30 years ago in the beginning of North Sydney. With the new North Brisbane CBD centre of Bowen Hills poised to repeat this story with Madison Heights in its very heart, don't let this opportunity pass you by.